For the people that are watching now, I'm going to start this very different. Normally, I would say explain who you are, but what I'd like to know is for these people that are watching now and the people that are in the group, the Mighty Repcar, tell me, Paul, why have you agreed to come to our area in Repcar in July and speak on mental health when you're under great demand to speak around the country, and you've volunteered to do that? So you're not taking any fee for it. You're going to come and speak about mental health to help other people. Tell us why you're doing that.
You know why, mate? Well, one is I love serving people. It's one of my highest values is serving people, particularly from the stage or in front of large crowds, because I love being the center of attention. But B, do you know, one of the biggest reasons was that I've spoken in a lot of places all over the world. I mean, I'm speaking in Lisbon and Barcelona this year already, but I actually never get asked that often to do anything local, which I'm like, really? If I want to do anything local, I've got to put my own events on.
Yeah.
As you know, it's stressful. It's way fucking easier to go and speak on somebody else's event. It's way easier. You turn up, you put on a show, you help some people, and then you go home. You don't have all the stress of organizing the thing. So that's it. There's a few reasons, but one of the main ones is that I actually never get to speak that often locally. I mean, and when I do, I put my own event on. There's people come from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I sometimes think, why aren't I getting asked to speak at this event? Like do you know when like the local authorities put an event on and they bring some speaker in from out of town? Like, why don't they just ask me to speak? I do it for free. It's almost like, and I've got a friend called Jeff Ram. He's a world-class speaker, right? A marketing speaker. And he said to me, the further he travels, for every mile he travels, the more he gets paid. I mean, that's the expert. His saying was the expert is always from out of town.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, and of course, obviously, serving people, helping people, and allowing people to almost share the tools and the strategies that I've learned that have turned my own life around, having them kind of experience the same thing.
Good. And we're going to come on to that. So let's, because we're doing this a bit ass first.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know who you are.
That's my favourite way to do things, just so you know.
Let's just roll with it. So tell us who you are.
So who am I? I'm Paul Mort. I'm from a small town called South Shields, which is just along the coast, really, right?
Yeah.
Apart from we've got a better looking coast. That's all that.
I don't know about that, like.
I shouldn't have said that, right? I fucked up already.
Yeah, like.
So I'm from South Shields. I describe myself as a dad, a husband, and a businessman. Right now, I work with married businessmen all over the world to help them get the shit together. But it has been a long, rocky road, and I've kind of just ended up here almost by chance. So back in 2014, I had a successful business, a marketing consulting business, and a supplement business. And I lived in Marbella. I lived in a 4-bedroom villa with a private pool. I had the life, but inside I was empty. While I was out there, I got diagnosed bipolar. A few months after that, I moved back home. And December 2014, I was ready to take my own life on the cliffs in South Shields. Since then, there was a couple of moments which I'm sure we'll get into, but I've kind of been on a long old journey, traveled all over the world, studying, had mentors, been on courses, been to workshops, joined masterminds, joined programs, read a bunch of books, just experimented with a lot of shit, wrote my own book. Like I say, spoken all over the world, got that video that you shared. Yeah, it's been a wild old journey. So listen, I could talk about myself for the rest of the day if you like. You know what it's like. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. It's been a challenging journey, and I've got a lot of crazy fucked up stories. But that's kind of where I'm at now. Yeah.
Let's talk about that video then. So this video, it's now had 5.6 million views on it. Yeah. Which is just crazy, and it's just growing, isn't it, by the day?
It is. It's
Tell us about that video. What was going on at that time in your life?
I'll tell you about the video first. Because at that time, the video was not scripted, and I created it completely off the cuff, and everything that I said came from my heart. Yeah. I'd actually been recording marketing videos all day. I probably I had a friend who used to come up from Doncaster, and he used to help me create marketing videos for the coaching business that I had at the time. And at the end of the day, I said, dude, just before you go, I said, just come over here, put the camera on me. I just had this, I kind of looked up and I saw the clips and that. I said, I've got something I want to say. And then fucking 15 minutes later, I would finish shooting it and then we'll put it up and it just went crazy. And all I did was, mate, I described where I was at the time, where I was at that time in my life. And I think the reason it's blew up is because I described how I felt in a way that not many people had heard before, but what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Because I think that through my experience of seeing shrinks, I got sent to every shrink going, mate. Shrinks, doctors, psychotherapists, psychologists, all of that. And I could tell just by looking in that, I mean, I don't think this is a requirement, but I could tell by looking in the eyes, I'm like, dude, you've got fucking no idea what I'm going through here.
Yeah.
And when you're that low, there's no logic anyway, right? There's no logic. I would look in his eyes, I'd be like, I'm done here. I'd completely turn off. But when they're asking me to keep things like a mood diary, I'm like, bro, what? So I can remind myself of how shit I feel every day? Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel today? Shit. How do you feel today? Shit. Even shitter. Shit. Yeah. So it was that was and like I say, I just described it in how I was feeling, and like I say, it kind of blew up, and it changed that video changed my life, because I realized that I had a very important message to share.
Yeah.
And that it changed a lot of other people's lives. I mean, I've had people message me, so many messages, people saying, you've saved my life, you've saved my son's life, you saw your video and he's ended up getting help, etc. So, and the thing is, I didn't even have an agenda with that video at all. I just felt like I needed to get it off my chest. There was I wouldn't even say there was advice in it.
Yeah.
If you watch it, there's no advice in it. It's just me describing where I'm at. Yeah. It's
very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like I say, I just spoke. And you know this, mate, when you felt like that, like I spoke from here.
Yeah.
I spoke from here, and it's very different to when it's all scripted and you know what you want to say and there's a distinct call to action. I just unloaded almost.
Yeah. But that's what it felt like, because I watched that video before we'd met.
Yeah.
And somebody had shared it, I clicked on it, and I just thought, wow, that's fucking good. That's powerful. That's from the heart. You can't fake that shit.
No, you can't fake that. And I think that's why it resonated with so many people, because I said things that I described things in a way that people hadn't heard but had thought.
Yeah.
There was nothing in there about thinking positive and positive thinking and look on the bright side and all that shit. Because I think that anybody that's felt like that, you get fed up of hearing that shit. It's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why were you that low then? What if you were successful?
Yeah.
You had good business.
Yeah.
You're in Marbella, did you say?
I was in Marbella.
Marbella, you've got your own apartment. Surely you had it all.
Yeah.
Why did you feel that way?
I think that for a start, I'm a kid from South Shields with 2 GCSEs.
Yeah.
So to experience that level of success, I didn't really have a clue what to do with all the money. So most of it went up my nose. And obviously that has an effect on your mental health, on your physical health, on your state. And at the time, I was living in Marbella and I didn't even know anyone. So I was isolated. There was me, my wife, 2 kids. When it all went downhill was when my daughter was born, and I was like, I just couldn't physically or mentally and emotionally deal with it. I'd never been in this situation before. And I suppose looking at it now, I built a life that I thought was what you were supposed to do. You build this big business, you're down to your fucking 4-hour work week. And I suppose I was also bored. I built this successful business and I stopped solving problems. I was like, this is my overriding thought when I think about this time. Is this it?
Yeah. Is
this it? I've got this successful business. I'm making more money than I ever thought possible. I've got a hot wife. I've got 2 kids. I've got a 4-bedroom villa with a private pool in Marbella. I've got a decent car.
Yeah.
Is this it? So yeah, I was kind of, the way I described myself at the time was just empty, unfulfilled, empty, lacking purpose actually. So I was kind of wandering through life thinking, when can I have my next drink?
Yeah.
I wasn't an alcoholic. I wouldn't describe myself as an alcoholic or even a coke addict. But that was the only way that I knew how to feel anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that, mate. I mean, for me, somebody said the other day that there was a particular post and somebody said, what's the best thing about being a millionaire? And I said, realizing that you don't need money to be happy.
Yeah.
Somebody commented on there, said, "Oh, you've learned the millionaires chat." But that's
yeah, I get that.
it's fucking genuine. Like, I done that same thing. I searched and searched out of my own ego issues and my own emptiness to create things, and then got there and kind of went, is this it? Like, expecting something to happen. And for me, it was the realization that I could have always been happy. It was a state. It's not a destination. It's something we can access. And for me, what you said there about having a purpose, when someone's got something to focus on and direction, we need that. Humans need that shit.
And I think that actually, mate, for you and me, I think, can you remember when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, and they say that it's the thrill of the chase? I think that's the thing. That's the most exciting thing. It's not getting the money. It's not getting the success. It's actually the chasing of it, because we have it. And purpose is just a sense of purpose. I don't necessarily agree with this. This is what I was born to do. This is my calling thing. I'm like, purpose is just a sense of purpose. And I think at some point we often can lose that sense of purpose. So then your only sense of purpose almost becomes, can I make it the weekend? Can I make it in my 2 weeks in Turkey? And everyone has a difference. Everything creates a different sense of purpose for people. And I have this thing, and I'm like, listen, I only work with men. I've never been a woman, so I don't know what it's like to be a woman. But I do know that we can get caught in this kind of, when we lose our sense of purpose, we become like a wandering man. And men, for me, need a mission. They need a mission. They need problems to solve. If we've got no problems to solve, we'll fucking create them. Think about that. I didn't really have any problems then, so I was just creating them. I was inventing problems. I was like, I better find a way to fuck this up.
I've been good at that in the past. That self-destruct button has certainly threw me off track a few times.
Give you some purpose. Oh, well, I fucked this up, so now I'll have to fix it. It's amazing.
No, I love that. So tell us where you are now. What's happening now? So you've gone from that. Tell us where you are, and then we'll fill in the bits in the middle.
So right now, I am coaching my balls off right now. Whether that's in group trainings, whether it's in group coaching, whether it's a one-to-one coaching, small group coaching. So right now, I'm right up there with the fittest I've ever been. So what I like to do is, I think that we have this system called F5, where we try and make progress, or we set outcomes in all 5 areas of life. So if I just focus on finances, and this is what happened to me, I let the rest slip. When you're just focusing on getting money, you let the rest slip. So now we have finance, we have fitness. So we're working on my health, we're working on my fitness, we're working on our energy, actually. For me, it's not about having a six-pack anymore. It's about having a body and energy levels that serve me. That serve me to fulfill more of my missions. We're growing in the family area. We're growing in the area of self-care. We're growing in, where else we're doing mindset challenges. So for me, we're constantly working on, particularly me, growing on all 5 of those areas. So, I mean, what am I working towards right now? Tell you what, the biggest challenge I've got right now is I can't do jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. I love the social side of it. I love being around people, which is crazy, because when I was in Marbella, I had this whole story, I hate people. People are this, people are that. That was my whole thing. Essentially, the problem was with me. It was never with anybody but me. And I think we get caught up in that victim mindset of pointing the finger. Oh, well, he made me feel like that. Oh, well, it's her fault. Oh, well, he stabbed me in the back. Oh, well, he did this. Oh, well, he's got... Do you know what I mean? We get caught up in that. Right now, like, I love being around people. That's my biggest challenge. But thankfully, you know what it's like, mate? We're just talking about before. We're getting to do these Zoom things. It's not the same. But it's where am I right now? Busy. And still with a sense of purpose, because there's nothing that stops anybody from setting any goals, even during these challenging times. I mean, we're in Q2 now, and obviously it's not even lockdown. We've got some restrictions. It's not, I wouldn't call it lockdown, would you?
No.
You're allowed to go out of the house.
Nothing really changes for me. I can still work at home. We're just...
I just can't stop eating. That's the only thing. I'm working from home. I can't stop fucking eating. I think that even now we're setting outcomes, but they're more behavior based, because even we're still in control of our behavior. So I'm just focused on that right now, behavior really.
So for me, something I picked up on there as well, because I believe, I mean, it's the old cliche thing, success leaves clues.
Yes.
But success does leave clues. And whenever I speak to people who've succeeded or turned their lives around, it's always the same things. It's them key things. And you talked about there of not blaming. For me, that was the first step. I had to take responsibility. So
yeah, I mean, how easy would it be? I mean, I blamed bipolar.
Yeah,
we probably blamed our town at some point.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. And like you say, mate, I think that it essentially, no one's ever changed anything until they've took responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was for me, like when I'd done that, that was the first step of, and that's what I say to people. And sometimes people can get upset by this.
Yeah.
Not saying take responsibility for things that have happened to you, because sometimes people have experienced bad things in the childhood.
Yes.
Absolutely must take responsibility for your own happiness and your own emotions.
Yeah. Because we can't put that responsibility onto someone else. It's unfair. And I think the word responsibility is the challenge here, because I think a lot of people think responsibility means blame and fault. Oh, well, that means it's my fault and I'm to blame. Actually, I will just reframe that, which is swap taking responsibility for just taking charge. Yep. Taking charge is way more powerful. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Taking charge is way more powerful, because blame and fault will often remain powerless. Yep. Like, you're completely powerless. If you want to feel powerful and take back control, you've got to take responsibility, which essentially is just taking charge. I'm going to take charge of how I feel, my perception of things, what I make things mean, and I'm also going to take charge of my future, how I behave, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, touching on that point there, this is one of the biggest things that it's probably the biggest thing I think that I've learned in life, is the fact that the only meaning anything has is the meaning we give to it. Because if two people can experience exactly the same thing and have a completely different experience, if that's not proof that we're controlling that, then I don't know what is.
Well, look at one of the most famous books of all time, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, right? That's all that book is about. And I think that I did a video about this the other day. Everyone's going through the same challenge right now. Maybe different variations of it, but everybody's got the same challenge. And the only difference between how people are behaving, so we have event, perception, decision, action, life.
Yeah.
Right? And the only difference, is the perception. And just changing it slightly by asking a question such as, what's the positive about this? What am I learning? How could this be working for me? What could I get from this?
Yeah.
Like, what am I getting from this? What's in it for me? Kind of almost that attitude.
Yeah.
That's as simple as it can be. And I think the change in perception is often just down to where you're at physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like, think about this, dude. You know this. Like, if my physical, mental, and emotional energy or my state is at an 8 out of 10 compared to 3 out of 10, the facts of my life could be the same, but my perception could be completely different. Yeah. So one day, COVID-19 is still here, I'm at a 3 out of 10 because I haven't been treating my body right, because maybe I haven't been getting to bed on time. Maybe I've been fucking drinking or whatever else goes with that.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just been lying around on the couch eating shit, which is just a coping mechanism. This fact could still remain the same, but the next day I'm able to raise my game to an 8 out of 10. The perception of this thing and therefore my behavior, my feelings, completely different.
Yeah.
The fact remains the same. All that changes in my perception of it. It's mad.
Yeah. And an old mentor of mine used to say that the quality of our life will always be in direct proportion to the quality of question we're willing to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said there about change the question that we're asking ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that even on that 8 to 10 thing, I was talking to Matt Elwell about this, and I also talk to my guys about this every morning. On a scale of 1 to 10, physically, mentally, and emotionally, what number are you today?
Yeah.
Where, if you're not at an 8, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're operating from a position of weakness. You're more likely to not take on challenges. Your perception of things is going to be a bit shit, and you're going to get the feelings that go with that. So we're what number you're at? And it's okay to be the 4, by the way. But then I'm how are you going to get to an 8? Don't do anything until you get to an 8. Don't look at anything until you get to an 8. What's going to get me from a 4 to an 8? What's in that gap? It may be as simple as a fucking cold shower. Yeah. It could be 10 burpees. It could be a meditation. It could even be a nap. It could be do some journaling, do some reading, put some music on, sing at the top of your, I don't know. But just getting from a 4 to an 8 is life-changing.
Yeah.
It sounds simple because it is.
What would you say now, though? Because this is roles reversed now.
Yeah.
When you said that, you used to look at people and think, this person doesn't understand.
Yes.
People listening to this or watching now,
yes,
and thinking, what a dick. He's telling me to do some burpees. I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Well, I've been in that exact same position. I'm speaking from experience, not from a fucking book that I've read or a motivational video that I've watched. I'm speaking from the experience of being at rock bottom. And the good thing about being at rock bottom is it's just an alarm clock. Yeah. Are you feeling depressed? Great. It's an alarm clock that something needs to change, starting with your perception. Are you feeling anxious? Great. It's a good thing. It's an alarm clock that something needs to change.
Yeah.
So that's what I do get it. That's how I'm able to speak about it with the language that I use. And it's almost like I've got inside knowledge, right? So you can either believe me, and you don't have to agree with me, but you can either believe me or continue to suffer. There's only those two options.
Yeah.
There's only those two options. You can believe me and follow some advice, or maybe give it a go at least, or suffer. And that comes down to your willingness. We have the life we're willing to put up with a lot of the time. People don't like it when I say that. And I get it, why they don't like it, because it's challenging. It challenges our beliefs. And when our beliefs are challenged, we want to defend them.
Yeah.
Right? You think about how powerful beliefs are. Some people some people believe in their beliefs so much, and their beliefs are so powerful that they'll strap a vest to themselves and blow themselves up.
Yeah.
That's how powerful beliefs are. So when we get our beliefs challenged, we want to defend them, which will often make us attack people. That's why people send me nasty messages all the time. I got one this morning that just said, "You fuckwit."
Yeah, I get plenty of them.
Yeah. My reply was "thank you," and I got a reply back saying "you're welcome." That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to deal with my response, because I'm like, whatever I said in the email that you responded to challenged our beliefs, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to defend. I don't need to prove anyone wrong for me to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, my dad suffered from depression in the past.
Yeah.
And he used to get really annoyed when his doctor used to say, "Go take a walk." Now, I used to say to my dad, there's actually a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
It's just about what you're doing on that walk. Because if you go take a walk and you're being mindful and you're being present in the moment, it absolutely will help you.
Yeah.
You're going on a walk and you're walking around going, "Life's shit, what's this? I'm fucking depressed."
Yeah.
And it's not going to help.
Do you know, I think sometimes I get that, because when I was at the doctors and they tried me on all sorts of meds, they ended up putting me on lithium, which was that just stopped me from feeling anything. I didn't feel depressed. I just felt shit permanently, because I didn't get whatever this manic is that you get with bipolar disorder. I wasn't getting anything. There was no depression and there was no mania. There was just shit constantly. And again, the doctor would tell me to do things like that. I'd be like, dude, I can't even get out of fucking bed. Never mind go for a walk. I can't even open the curtains. So at the time, that actually felt like, bearing in mind I'd have to get dragged to the doctors by my wife. She'd drag me there, because she's like, I wouldn't go in when I had the energy to go to the doctors, things were actually all right. My lowest points were when I couldn't get out of bed, or when I ran away for 3 days at a time, right? Yeah. So I get that, because it feels like, often people are like, do this, but that feels like moving a mountain. Dude, you're asking me to go for a walk? Like I say, it's like moving a mountain. So I think that often we've got to make it easier to feel better.
Yeah.
So I'm like, could I do, there's so many things now. We've got all this Wim Hof breathing. Can I journal? Can I write down, I'm not saying keep a mood diary. Can I write down three people's names that I love? 3 people that love me? 3 things I'm proud about that have happened in my life. There's a bunch of different things that we can do to change the way that we feel. Yeah. Just often I said to a guy yesterday, he's like, "Paul, I want to feel better. I just can't be about to go for a run." I'm like, "Who said you have to go for a run to feel better? I'm not fucking running. I hate running. Why would I try and force myself to do shit that I hate?" Yeah. So find a way that'll create the same feeling, but that is simple, easy, and convenient. We can't always do them, but when we need simple, easy, and convenient. Yeah. It could be to put something on that makes you laugh.
Definitely.
Put something on that makes you laugh. Put some music on. Sing at the top of your voice. Go for a walk. Have a cold shower. I keep mentioning cold showers. I don't know what's the matter with me.
Yeah, but it's just that breaking state, isn't it?
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, again, if I can't do that right, what can I do on paper that'll make me feel better? The first thing I do is, how do I want to feel?
Yeah.
Because we get obsessed. We almost get addicted to how we don't want to feel.
Yeah.
Like, if we're focused on how we want to feel, then we can create a little strategy. So if I want to feel more energized, what could I do? Well, I could take a nap. I could do some squats. I could go for a walk. I could do some, there's so many apps now on breathing. Yeah. There's one called State, which is incredible for breathing. It's tremendous. There's a bunch of things that we can do to feel better. And you think about it, that's why most people drink. They just want to feel better.
Yeah.
Why we maybe have a line of Coke, we want to feel better. Maybe we have a cigarette because we want to feel better. We eat a tub of ice cream because we want to feel better. There's a bunch of other things that we could do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's simple. And again, we often, again, listen, this is what people hate when I say the most, but we're either willing to do something different or willing to stay the same. There's no two ways about it. If I'm not willing to stay the same, then by default, I'm willing to do something. If I'm willing to stay the same, or sorry, if I'm not willing to do something different, then I'm willing for shit to stay the same.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, I might press a button with you here now. Where, I know you speak your mind and I speak my mind. So let's be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I believe that when people go to the doctors, the biggest issue is people are not their diagnosis. They are being diagnosed on something
100% agree.
Based on their behaviour. So if you've been diagnosed as bipolar, that's because you were demonstrating that behaviour at that time. If I went and shot you in front of a doctor now, he's probably going to say that you're the opposite. You're bundle of energy. You're the type.
Here's what he'd say. Here's what he'd say, because I've had this experience. Oh, are you manic? Are you manic right now, Paul? No, this is just who I fucking am. This is me. This is me, fully me. I'm not fucking manic. This is my energy level today. Today, this is my energy level. So I get people all the time, I have bipolar. I'm like, you don't have bipolar. I don't have bipolar. I was given that label, but listen, I don't even take any meds now.
Yeah.
How can I have bipolar? How can I be bipolar? I was just given that label.
Exactly.
I was just given that label. That was it. I really think now this is where I'm at right now. And I still get this. I still get days where I'll wake up a 2 out of 10 because I pushed too hard the day before.
Yeah.
This is why I create a lot of time off, a lot of recovery strategy. I had to take yesterday off because I hadn't had a day off for 10 days because I've been so focused on serving people and I'm training my ass off. I'm working hard right now, so I had to take yesterday off. In the past, I'd have been like, oh, I'm bipolar, oh, I'm depressed, because I woke up at 2 out of 10.
Yeah. But once you give up that, it's that thing again of what you said where you changed the word from responsibility. What did you change?
Charge. Take charge.
Because as soon as you've now put it on the label, you've now lost that power to do anything about it at all.
Yeah. Here's what I think, right? And we'll talk about this, is that I think obviously there's some level of genetics involved with depression, but I think that a lot of the time you don't get depressed by accident.
Yeah.
Like and you've said this, and I saw you got fucking battered for this, mate.
Yeah.
Is that with some level of, listen, you don't catch depression. It's not contagious.
Yeah. Anxiety
is the same. We create it. And most of the time, though, this is fair play to people. We're just not aware of what we do to create that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? We have a strategy for feeling. We have a strategy for feeling like shit a lot of the time. And sure, there are outliers to that. Sure, they are. I get it. There are definitely some like DNA kind of shit going on with that. There's definitely some in your genes shit going on with that. I don't know what the official stats are, but a lot of depression, I can't even say a number, we created ourselves. I know that was the case for me.
Yeah.
That was my activities, my behaviors, where my thought process was at, what I was focused on, what I was putting in my body, what I was reading, what I was watching, the way I was sleeping. All of that stuff contributed to me creating these feelings of depression.
Yeah, 100%. I truly believe that, exactly what you're saying. Everything that you, where that focus goes, and it's going to determine the outcome. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the great news about that is that, again, I didn't catch it. It wasn't contagious. The great news about that is once I accepted that and took charge of my behavior, my habits, my feelings, etc. And again, I didn't go, oh, well, it's my fault I created this, etc., etc. I was like, well, if I'm able to create that, like, what else can I create?
Yeah.
Like, can I create the opposite feeling?
Exactly.
Like, what if Here's a great exercise that we do in one of my programs is, I read a book called Solve for Happy. The guy who's called Mort or something. He used to work for Google. And he had the book's great. And he had an amazing exercise in his book that basically said, fill in the blanks. I feel happy when, right? And I was blown away by it because I was like, I've never been asked that before. And I struggled at first. And then I started writing the answers down. I'm like, what if I wanted to feel happy and I just did one of those things?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But don't get simple confused with easy.
Yeah.
Because if your level of training, if you like, if your level of conditioning, if you've done the strategy, if you've executed the strategy without even knowing it, most of the time you don't even know what creates this. That doesn't mean it isn't true. If you're well trained in creating shitty feelings, it's going to be challenging to create the kind of the empowering feelings, if you like. It's going to be challenging, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's simple though.
Yeah, definitely. It's a skill set. I mean, when people say to me, I had a mate say to me last year that he's self-employed now. He's got a couple of members of staff, working sort of 12, 14 hours a day. And he said, it's stressful as fuck what I'm doing. He said, I love having my own business, but it's stressful as fuck. And I said, no, it's not. It's your lack of skill set.
Yeah.
You've got 2, 3 members of staff.
Yeah.
I've got 30 members of staff.
Yeah.
You've got 1 business. I've got 10.
Yeah.
So in theory, my stress level should be 10, 30-fold what yours is.
Yeah.
And I have no stress. And the reason why is I follow something. So every day I have my 5 things which I've got to do for the day.
Yeah.
And I ask myself this question: what's the 5 things I can do today that are going to have the biggest impact on both my life and other people's lives?
Yeah.
And I focus on the number 1. So I prioritize them. I focus on number 1. I aren't thinking on anything else at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once I've done that number 1, I then go on to number 2. Yeah. How can I possibly feel stressed if I've only got 1 fucking thing to do?
Yeah.
It's because you're overloading yourself with great big lists, and I've got to get this done and that done. And it's a lack of skill set.
I love that, mate, because I get often, in fact, about 10 times this morning on a Q&A that I did in one of my programs, I got the word overwhelm came up. I said overwhelm is a combination of 2 things. 1, you're in the future.
Yeah.
You're in the future. You can't be overwhelmed by a list.
Yeah.
You believe in your thoughts that are on the future. 2 is you're just not clear on your priorities.
Yeah.
And when you're not clear on your priorities, you'll always create overwhelm, but also you think you have to do everything.
Yeah. You
can only do 1 thing at a time. We've never had the ability to do everything at once. We can't do everything at once, but we can always do 1 thing. Exactly. It's just sometimes quite difficult to choose what that 1 thing is, and that's what your question solves.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people have different theories on this. Sometimes I'm like, eat that frog, that old Brian Tracy thing, choose the hardest thing first. But actually, a lot of days, I like just getting an easy one first. You know, like a warm-up. Yeah. You know, like when you're going to do a warm-up, you'll often do a warm-up to get you warm for the big thing. Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, what can I box off that's really easy? Often it's like a live video for me. Let's box this off, change my state, and then I'll nail the hard thing when I get from a fucking 6 to an 8. Yeah. I can't solve big problems at a fucking level, at a 5. Yeah. At a 4.
But again, it's whatever strategy works, isn't it? Yeah. But, like I say, by being able to do that, you can't feel overwhelmed if you've got it's just a lack of skills. I believe all mental health, and this really pisses people off when I say this, is down to a skill set. It literally is. And I can speak from the heart because, like you, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and I was told by doctors, you've got this for life. There's no cure for PTSD. Yeah. It's fucking bollocks because I don't have it anymore. So I'm proof that that statement is bullshit.
Do you know, some people, I get asked this only on my Instagram for some reason. There must be a different crowd. And one of the things that I get asked is, like, do you think you'll ever be back to where you were before? And I said, the possibility of that is high if I stop doing the things that got me out of that. Yeah. What I mean by that is, it's like someone who, and this is me, I was 5 stone overweight then as well. So if I was like, I think I was 18 stone then, maybe 19 stone. And if I stop doing the things that got me down to 13 stone, I'm going to end up at 19 stone again. Anyone that's been fat, lost weight, stops doing the thing that lost the weight, gets fat again. Yeah. It's a similar kind of mentality and mindset. And listen, often you don't get better at push-ups by not doing push-ups.
Exactly.
It's a similar kind of thing. It gets turned into, I think often, Stephen, like often when it's in here, it's always a drama show.
Yeah.
One of the easiest things you can do is strip away the intensity of the fucking horror show and just start getting shit on paper. Like, how do I want to feel? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, here's how I really feel. How do I really feel? What does that mean? How did I end up here? How do I want to feel? What am I willing to do? A bunch of different things that we could do. But yeah, we've got it. But you can't solve a problem here. For me, you've got to get it on paper because we can turn it into a puzzle. We can strip away the intensity of the emotions and get some facts down on paper.
Yeah. And I think we're great. Humans are amazing at fucking overcomplicating things, aren't there? And
yeah, you can't think your way out. You can't think your way out of depression. You can't think your way out of anxiety. Action is the only answer. Regardless of what that action is, you've got to find an action that works for you. That's why I'm not a big fan of giving people, here's exactly what I do. I can give you some questions, but the answer's got to be on you. I mean, I spent the first 3 years of my coaching life, and I would actually say that I wasn't even a coach. I was more of a mentor, telling people what to do. Now I'm a coach, and I ask world-class questions that allow people to figure out their own answer, which is way more empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're way more likely to execute shit that you've came up with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I say, action's the only answer. Even if that action is getting it out of here onto here.
Yeah. And it blows my mind when I hear things like articles as if it's like, as if we've just literally put a man on Mars, where they say it's been proven that going to the zoo is great for mental health. Well, of course it will be. You're getting out of your environment. You're changing your state. You're connecting with the universe. Like
taking your attention off yourself and everything that's shit onto animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then actually, these poor bastards are stuck in a fucking cage.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we had people like me look at them and fucking make weird noises like, ooh, 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 caw, caw, you know what I mean? My life ain't so bad when these fuckers are stuck in a cage.
Yeah, people probably think we're both crazy. Okay, I'm going to, we've gone on a tangent, which is great. I expected we would.
Wow.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, though. So who's the most inspirational person that you have ever met and why?
Ooh, wow. That is a great fucking question. And you know what, mate? The answer to this will probably change on a daily basis. Like when people say, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, it changes. What's the best book you've read? And for some reason, I can't give a solid answer all the time. It changes all the time. Most inspirational person I've ever met. Dr. John DeMartini.
Yeah.
I only met him in January. Phenomenal guy. Like, easily, hands down, the smartest guy I've ever met. But also, his story is fucking phenomenal. Yeah. Dr. John DeMartini. After that...
Why is he, why does he stand out as being the most inspirational to you?
His backstory of being dyslexic, being born with both of his feet pointing in, and then doing what he does now, which is traveling the world, like, all of the time, making the money that he's made, building the life that he's got, impacting the people that he's impacted is fucking incredible. Like, he's coached some of the most amazing people in the world, and he's just knowledge and his backstory is amazing, and he tells loads of rude jokes. Like, when you see him, when he was on The Secret, where I'm not a giant fan of The Secret, when he's on The Secret, like, oh, this guy's this, like, he's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Smart, educated guy, like crazy smart. He's studied something like 20 ologies. Like, he's a big philosopher, right? He's studied 20 ologies. And then when I met him, his language was like my level language. And I was blown away by how often he talked about shagging and all. Like, I was blown away by it. So yeah, he would 100% right now. And Byron Katie will be up there as well. Byron Katie's an incredible woman. Again, blown away by what she's managed to pull off and how empathetic she is with people. Yeah, those would be my top two, I think.
Love that. Who's been the
third one? I'll give you a third one. Anthony Crawler, the boxer.
Who?
Anthony Crawler. Yeah. This is a guy who came from being like a British level fighter to a burglar breaking into his next door neighbor, him chasing him and smashing a brick over his head, fracturing
his head. I remember that, yeah.
And then a few months later, winning the world title, and he's a top dude.
Yeah.
I'll do too. He will be up there as well.
Yeah, I've seen him fight quite a few times actually. I'd not specifically gone to see him fight. It was in his earlier days where he's fought on like Ricky.
Like an undercard.
Yeah.
And dude, he's honestly one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. Like, I remember meeting him once. Me and my wife bumped into him. He was meant to fight Jorge Linares, who's a phenomenal fighter. And my wife didn't know who he was. Would went just to see him. He was top of the bill. Would went just to see him. 5,000 people, maybe even more, Manchester Arena. My wife was like, "Who was that?" That's the kid who was spending 100 quid on tickets like footsie fighting night. She was like, "No way." World champ, and she was just like, great crack. Yeah.
You connected with him, are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Might tap you up for getting him on a podcast then.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, he'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna swing on to that now anyway. So
all right.
The fact that we've come onto it. So tell me now, who's 2 people that you know right now who are inspiring people on a mass level that you can connect me with to come on a podcast?
I've got quite good, my contacts are good. Whether they'll come on or not, it's a different story.
Okay, well, you message me later after this.
All right, let me give you 2 names.
Would be amazing.
Let me give you a couple of names. I know a guy called Satema Gali, who ex-NFL champ. He's won the Super Bowl. Ended up knocking doors, having to sell his Super Bowl ring. Now he's crushing it. I have got a guy called James Smith, who you might have heard of. He's a fitness guy. I coached him. Best-selling book last year, crushing it. He would be a great guest. He's hilarious. And yeah, but whether I'm get them on or not, we'll probably have to ask James as manager. Yeah. But yeah, those 2 people will be great guests.
We'll connect on those. Right. What else do I want to ask you? What would you say? Because I think we've kind of covered more on mental health on this because we've both sort of experienced that. So I'm going to steer away from the business stuff with this and head towards that. What would you say to somebody right now if they're maybe watching or they listen to this at a later date and they don't feel great? What's the steps that they need to do from getting from that really shit, wanting to jump off a cliff like you were close to doing, to turning your life around and now being probably happier than you've ever been? Am I right in saying that?
Right now, yeah, but I woke up this morning about a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
All that's changed is my state, dude.
Yeah.
It's mad. Anyway, so what would I do? One, you got to stop focusing on how you don't want to feel.
Yeah.
You got to stop focusing on how you don't want to feel. So my process would be, how do I really feel? What's the emotion I'm experiencing right now? On paper, not here. 2, what does that mean? What does that mean? 3, this is the biggest part. How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? Number 4, what am I willing to do to feel like that? Not what could I do, what am I willing to do to feel like that? And that's where the skill set comes in.
Yeah.
So someone say to me, I'll say like, well, what makes you feel like that normally? What other ways do you know that you could feel like that? I can give you some examples, but it's really irrelevant. If you already know what makes you feel that way, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's exactly where I'd start. It could be something like the 3x3x3 thing, which is write down the names of 3 people that you love, write down the names of 3 people that love you, and then write down 3 things that you're proud of that have happened in your life.
Yeah. And you've got to be consistent with this, haven't you? You've got I think the key here is, like you've said, you can't just do this once and that's it. You feel amazing for the rest of your life. It's
strategy for everything.
Yeah.
I'll be checking in with yourself every day. Where am I at on a scale of 1 to 10? If I'm not at an 8, what's in the gap?
Yeah.
Could be I'm going to send someone a message to make them feel great.
Yeah.
We do this thing called an appreciation message, where I'm like, listen, if you want to feel appreciated, you need to tell someone you appreciate them, because you can't get what you don't give.
Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't appreciate me. When was the last time you told her that you fucking appreciated her, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, that's such a good way of feeling great, is sending someone a text message that says, hey mate, just so you know, I really appreciate you. And just let it go. You'll feel great just thinking of that person, and then you'll feel great once you send the message. But it's challenging for people, because the biggest challenge with that is that they worry about what the other person's going to think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the biggest. They might send them back. Just let it go anyway.
I think that is, for me, the biggest hurdles and the biggest shit that I used to put on myself, and I think most people do, is what people think about them is massive. Being offended by things just way too easily, and the whole focus thing of that which you're focusing on. It's
I think the worrying about what people think is normal. Like, it's normal. I don't think that's it. I still worry about what people. I wouldn't say I worry, but we still care what people think. It's like human. It's a primal instinct. It almost goes back to like predator and prey. What am I going to eat, and what might eat me? That's so, you know what I mean. That's what I think of prey and predator. It's the most primal instinct. How am I going to get something to eat, and what might eat me? That's what I'm thinking of all the time. So that's like, and again, what you got to consider though with it is like, whatever it is, I'm just guessing anyway.
Yeah.
And when they tell you what they think, that's the only way to know, by the way. And even then, they could be fucking lying.
Yeah.
So honestly, what do you think of me? And if they told you, you'd be like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Or, well, I'm either not that bothered or you're fucking lying.
Yeah.
So again, you'll realize that if someone told you what you think, it's not that bad. It's way worse than trying to guess it's way better and way easier than trying to guess what they think. And it's kind of like fighting. Like, getting punched in the face is nowhere near as bad as thinking about getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
I've had 3 fights. I spar boxing and jiu-jitsu all of the time. And like, there's still a bit of nerves there because you could get hurt. But then once you're never nervous and you're never anxious when you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
The thoughts are always before. That's the worst part. The nervousness and the anxiety is always when you're trying to be not where you are, but in the future. Yeah. When you're actually there, it's never that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in a gunfight like you, so I don't know whether that's any different. But that's yeah.
It's the same thing though. I say once you're present in that moment, it takes away anxiety and things like that, which we can't feel anxiety and fear when we genuinely in the.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for me, you can't be doing and being anxious at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I see it a lot of people. This is how I cured my panic attacks on flights, is I just started playing Football Manager. No shit. If I'm playing Football Manager and I'm engrossed in it, it may not be that game. I may be reading something, it may be doing work. I can't be doing that and being anxious at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm a man and we can't multitask. Everyone knows that.
No, yeah. I love that. Two more questions I want to ask you.
Do you know what, mate? Do you know what? This is such an important point. I can't be solving a problem and creating one at the same time.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a created problem. It's not an actual problem. It's a created problem. When I'm solving it, I can't be anxious.
Yeah. Love that. 2 questions I want to ask you before we finish.
Yeah.
So the podcast is called Discipline, and that's why I wear the discipline tops.
Yeah.
I believe discipline is the foundation of all success. And often when I speak to people who have achieved things, some of them don't actually think they're disciplined, but you have to be disciplined in a particular area to get a result. And that could be the couple that have got a great relationship.
Yes.
They are disciplined to saying the right things, the discipline to taking time out, the discipline to go on the meals.
Yeah.
But when something's working in your life, it's because you're applying discipline to that particular thing.
Yes.
An area's not working, it's because you're neglecting it and you're not applying discipline.
Yes.
So what discipline do you apply in your life that's took you from that state to where you are now?
Amazing question. So first up, I want to touch on this. Without a plan, there's nothing to be disciplined to. People, I want to be disciplined. Well, do you have what plan are you working towards? Well, none. I'm like, well, you can't. Without a plan, there's no plan to be disciplined to.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where those are the same people that get overwhelmed. You have to, if there's no plan, you cannot be disciplined. So here's another little insight. There are some things that we're naturally disciplined in, and those are the things that we place the highest value on. Like, I'm naturally disciplined now in jiu-jitsu and boxing. I'm not naturally disciplined in other types of exercise. Actually, I put hot yoga in there as well now. I'm not naturally disciplined in other types of exercise. So what I have to do is 2 things. In my business, I'm only disciplined in the things that I really like doing. The other shit, I do one of 2 things. I delegate shit. I delegate what I hate. Rather than force myself to be disciplined in that area, I'll delegate it.
Yeah.
It'll be the same. Or I link the thing that I need to be disciplined in to my highest value.
Right, okay, yeah.
So for me, what I'm able to do is, I don't particularly like dieting. I don't think anyone does. but I'm able to link dieting to things that I do value.
Yeah.
So I'm able to link eating well to the fact that my biggest mission is serving on a stage. That's my favorite thing to do, speaking on a stage, doing things like this. If my energy is shit, people wouldn't listen. If I showed up at 3 out of 10 today, people are like, who the fuck's this dog?
Yeah.
You myself be thinking that anyway. So I'm able to also link dieting to one of my favorite things, jiu-jitsu and boxing. I'm able to link dieting to being a great example to my kids. I'm able to link dieting to the fact that I don't want to end up back where I was.
Yeah.
But I don't like, I'm not naturally disciplined at that, and I can't delegate it. Nobody can diet for me, although I do get meal prep sent to my door. So I delegate that cooking part of it because I'm not disciplined in cooking.
Yeah.
So delegate that, and the rest of it, if I can't delegate it, I link it to other shit. Like, I don't really give a fuck about having a six-pack or any of that. Don't care. But I can delegate my diet to the fact that I need high energy and I need high levels of service to do what I do. So yeah, and the things that so there's a lot of things that I'm not naturally disciplined at, and those tend to be the things that I don't see that much perceived benefits of.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, though, isn't it? I mean, people look at those things, a sacrifice, as a negative thing when you talk about value.
Sometimes discipline is not really sacrifice, though, is it?
Yeah. Well, it's just giving up some of a less value in order to achieve higher value. That's
it, mate. Yeah, and often it's just because, and the reason we're not disciplined is in an area is because we perceive more drawbacks to being disciplined in that area than benefits.
Yeah,
it's essentially it. I think it's a fascinating topic that people overcomplicate.
Yeah.
It's not about sacrifice, really. It's about, I would say, it's making more good decisions than bad decisions in the short term that impact your long term.
Yeah, I think, again, like you say, it's where that focus is. I always tell people you'll always find what you're looking for. And, if you can shift your focus on, I'm eating this food or doing that particular thing for that result. And,
a lot of people will call that your why.
Yeah.
A lot of people will call that your why. I think that's a little bit cheesy and a little bit vague.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, I'm eating it. And the thing is, I'm creating what I call multiple sales points.
Yeah.
So I can't sell myself on eating well because I want to be a certain weight. I can sell myself on eating well because it's giving me the energy to do what I do. If I can't sell myself on eating well to have a six-pack, I can sell myself on eating well the fact that somebody's going to get crushed at jiu-jitsu later because I haven't ate shit for lunch.
Yeah.
I can link, we can have multiple, what I'd say is multiple benefits, multiple positives and advantages. The more of those I've got, the more payoffs I've got, the more likely I am to be disciplined at it.
Yeah.
I'm basically selling myself.
Exactly, yeah.
Closing myself.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. One last question then.
Yes.
I love saving this one to the end. Okay, so we fast forwarding now. And we're now at Paul's funeral. And your family are there, friends are there, work colleagues. What do you want to be remembered for?
Impacting millions of people through example. That's it. Whether that's my wife and kids, I've impacted them through example, or people all over the world through example. Not preaching, not standing on the stage preaching, but standing on the stage sharing real life examples of what's worked for me.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Paul, if people are watching now or they're listening at a later date and they've not heard of you before or your work, where can they find you?
Well, the good news is if they're still watching at this point, we haven't pissed them off so much that they've left yet.
When we check the messages and we're getting slaved.
No, I don't want to see. Don't tell me about those. Where can they find me? Best place, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or go to my website, paulmort.uk, where they'll be able to see about my books, my courses, etc., etc. Or join us live in July in Redcar.
Yeah, Strength to Succeed, which is the mental health event, which we've done 3 now, and it's had such a big impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
And we bring some amazing speakers. It's completely free. It's probably the most rewarding event I would say that I do throughout the year.
Yeah, amazing. Because you know, one of the things that lights my heart, which will probably be you, is I love hearing about personal success stories. But what I love hearing even more, I get emotional saying this, is when someone's family has been impacted by the person who we've impacted. Like that's like the butterfly effect, right? So when someone's kids, for example, at Christmas, I got a Christmas call of 2 kids whose dad has transformed. Like the kids were only young. Like, thank you for showing my daddy the way. And then last year I spoke at an event with Simon Thomas off Sky Sports, and the guy that organised it, his mum and dad said, thank you for bringing my son back. And then someone's wife will say, thank you for this. I mean, it wasn't me. I was just kind of the vessel of the message that I've got. But that's the shit that really lights this. Yeah. Hearing the business success and their successes, that still fires me up. But when someone's family's being impacted, I'm like, because that's why I did what I did for my family, essentially. From me and my family.
It's mad you say that, because I say the same thing. Like, I love teaching people how to make money from property, but nothing's more rewarding for me when someone comes and they say they've lost X amount of weight, or I've had it where wives have come and said, you've given me my husband back, saved my relationship, and things like that.
That's the big shit, innit? That's the big shit. Yeah, it's crazy how it leads. Like, you were teaching them more property, and then you've ended up giving someone the husband back.
Yeah, it's mad.
Powerful shit. I love it.
Love it, mate. Right,
Thank you for having me on, buddy.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take one question. We'll take one question. The way my
mom's been watching our watch party, so.
Oh, you haven't been swearing.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I didn't say the C word, and that's the only one she gets offended by.
Yeah. Amazing. You need to ask her what meaning she's connected with that C word. That's
probably me dad.
Yeah, that'll do it. Have we got any questions on that? I think we've got one or two, but the way my phone's set up, I can't see them fully.
Let's have a little look. I'll have a little look, mate. I've got also.
If you've got a question and you want to ask Paul, drop it in below.
I feel like we're in Inception here, bro.
Will's asked you, where's your glasses at?
Oh, shit. Well, funny enough, here, mate, my Jimmy Savile glasses are right here.
Nice.
There they are. These are just the ones that, you know, when you've got the big ring light on?
Yeah.
When I'm sat in front of it a lot.
George Michael now with them on.
Yeah. Especially on a night, like if I'm on in the afternoon or nighttime, it really affects my sleep.
When's he going to beat Alex in BJJ?
Well, Alex is a 14-year-old boy from Redcar who murders me at BJJ.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know Anthony. I recently met his son as well. I didn't realise that's who he was referring to.
Alex for a 14-year-old. Like, bearing in mind when I was 14, I was trying to poke girls and get high.
Yeah.
Alex is a little monster. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Dude, phenomenal kid. And
he's in great shape.
Here's the answer, right, to Anthony's question. I'll beat him when he stops coming for like 10 years maybe, and I've been keeping coming for 10 years. Yeah. So, in other words, never.
Peter Charlton, when we all having a beer. I don't know do you know Peter? Peter's a great guy.
I don't know Peter. When are we all having a beer?
He's like 6. He must be 6'2" or 6'3", and he's
maybe you'll have a pint in maybe you'll have a pint in July.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of Warwick University the next day after that, actually, so there'll be no pints. Yeah. It depends what he means. Oh, he said a beer, didn't he?
Yeah, beer. Yeah. I just call him the bear. Right. One last question. Glenn Hunt. Do you know Glenn?
I don't, but I love his middle name.
Yeah, well, Glenn's done training with me. That's where he's put that name on from doing.
I love it. I love it.
He's lost 8 stone since he came.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he's lost 8 stone.
That's amazing.
Glenn, what's your question? I can't fully see.
I can see it. What's the most important activity you do in a day?
Yeah.
Mine is I do a lot of activities today, but the most important one is prompted journaling, which is basically answering a bunch of questions and then planning. Yeah. By far the most important activity, because again, without a plan, there's no discipline. Without discipline, you make your life harder than necessary.
Love it. And I always tell them about the importance of journaling, so hopefully they fucking talk note.
Do you know what? Everyone asks me about journaling. Essentially, I'm not like an Adrian Mole type diary, personal diary. Yeah. For me, it's more of and I got this idea from Brendan Bashard's high performance planner. Yeah. We create our own planner just with different questions in. So we do what's called prompted journaling, which is questions like, who's someone I could follow up with today to get a deal over the line? Who's someone that needs me to show up and have a positive impact on them? Who could I send a gift to or an appreciation message today? What could stress me out today? All those kind of questions. Yeah, that's by far the most important activity I do. It's the first thing I do before I do anything else.
Love it.